Tuesday was a big day in Central Indiana sports, and we have all the details for you today on Central Indiana Sports Central. The Colts have named a quarterback, and I spoke to Sam Frick of ANEC Sports about Shane Steichen's decision. The Pacers have assigned Rick Carlisle to a long-term deal. I spoke to Michelle Garmon of the Tipton Tribune, an Elwood call leader, about what she called good news. The Fever continue to have bad injury news, with Sophie Cunningham now out for the season. We'll get details on that from our Fever guy, John Robertson. Notre Dame also made a quarterback decision. I talked to Ryan Robinson about that. And Michelle Garmon, for the second day, did a doubleheader covering high school sports in this first week of the season. She has details from Elwood-Hamilton Heights tennis and Elwood Lapel Volleyball.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, Central Indiana sports fans. I am your host, Greg Mengelt. I just told you everything that's coming up. I'm not going to repeat all of that. What I am going to do is ask you to do us a huge favor. Central Indiana Sports Central is way too good of a podcast to not be getting thousands of eyeballs every morning. Please do us a huge favor and let everybody know that we're out here doing this every day, that we release it sometime before 9 a.m., usually before 5 a.m. every morning, talking Colts, Pacers, Fever, IU, Purdue, IndyCar, and of course, high school sports. And your Central Indiana Sports Update begins now. Welcome back to the podcast. Sam Frick of ANEC Sports up in the northeast corner of Indiana. I was not expecting to lead this podcast with this today, but the Daniel Jones era is among us, Sam.
Yeah, and it's led to a very divisive dialogue in terms of fans of the Colts, non-fans of the Colts, football fans in general. I think I can agree on both sides of the picture. On one hand, you look at the Colts situation, yes, there's a lot of frustration amongst fans who believe, yeah, Anthony Richardson's the franchise guy, right? There's a lot of frustration, and every point they're making is very valid. On the other hand, and some people have already stated this early on, there is a sense of optimism in terms of what the Colts could look like in a no-pressure situation. Now there's a sense of direction where the Colts are going. Maybe there's a sense of, hey, we're finally cleaning room, we're finally cleaning house. Now here's an opportunity for the Colts to really look ahead to the future and see what they can do from there. Maybe get the chopping block on Chris Ballard. But either way, no matter how you slice it with the situation with the Colts, it has certainly been a very divisive day amongst Colts fans.
I'm completely against all of this, Sam. I think if you draft a guy that high and he's that young, you just go with him. But, like you said, you could make the argument that this could lead to a better 2025.
Daniel Jones, a lot of it's going to hinge on the play calling of Shane Steichen and the Colts offense. I mean, Daniel Jones, when he's consistent like he was at times in 2022, he can be a respectable quarterback. Maybe not the best quarterback in the universe, but can be pretty respectable in his own right. But again, with the Colts, even though they have talent around him, especially a wide receiver and a running back, a lot of it's going to hinge on consistency from him, reliability from him. Can the players trust Daniel Jones around him? And more importantly, can the play calling execute its plan? That's going to be the key with the Colts. And I'm very curious now to see where they go with Jones from here, because the Colts have went through a lot of quarterbacks over the past 7 years or so.
Yeah, we could just name them. And we did on our special edition of the Colts Report that'll be out a little later Wednesday. Sam, it'll be interesting to see also what they do on Saturday against the Bengals in the final preseason game at quarterback.
It's going to be kind of a trial run to get things ready for the Miami Dolphins game. So now we're going to have a kind of a preview of what's to come for Week 1. So
will we see Anthony Richardson at all in the preseason game? It'll be interesting to see what happens. Once again, Sam joined us for a special edition of the Colts Report that'll be out at about 9 a.m. And please tune in for that. We were also joined by Mike Hutzel, Will Rutherford, and Michelle Garmon. Tune in. Thanks, Sam.
Yep.
And now I welcome in our Fever guys, John Robertson and Michelle Garmon of the Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader, to talk about the latest news. John, coming into the season, we were so excited. We were predicting a Fever championship. We were going to sell out every game. It was going to be so much fun every night at the field house, and it just hasn't turned out that way. The latest news, of course, Sophie Cunningham out for the season.
It's just been a series of unfortunate events for the Fever. The season has gone about, luck-wise, as badly as it could. Overcoming the adversity, I feel like the team has really done a pretty good job to still be in a playoff hunt, considering how many people we've lost. But losing Sophie for the season is not optimal, and I am doubtful for the playoff run at this point.
If they make the playoffs, they're not going to be able to do much once they get there. Even if Caitlin returns, and I saw something on X or Twitter today that said, with Sophie, if Sophie misses the rest of the season, will they even try to have Caitlin return?
John's been saying all along that he doesn't think she's coming back. He hasn't.
I said there's a non-zero chance. I said there's a non-zero chance that they've got her on the bench for the season. Yeah, I think she comes back, but I just think it's going to be too much to overcome, because even if they can do well with the starters, they're going to lack depth, and then we're back to last year where Caitlin has to play like every single minute, and on an injury comeback, I don't see it. So we'll see what happens. I just think it's one of those things where you have to say this season has gone not the way we wanted, but friendly reminder, Michael Jordan missed most of his second season ever, and I feel like he turned out pretty okay, so we can look to the future.
Right.
I think the Fever are going to be very highly motivated next season. And I want to say, as long as the lockout doesn't ruin the league, I think the Fever are going to be on a mission. I think they're going to have names, and I think their calendars are going to be starred when they play certain teams or certain players, and I think they're going to be highly motivated, and I think all people have done is made them angry.
John, Michelle, and I were joined by Sam Frick of ANEC Sports up in Fort Wayne, and Mike Hutzel to talk about the latest bad news for the Fever. And also, John, at the end of the podcast, which is coming out this afternoon, teased Saturday's regular Fever report, which he's going to talk about his latest conspiracy about the WNBA, and I'm all for it, John.
Yeah, we'll see how that one goes over. People will either think I'm a genius or insane, or maybe both. We'll see how it goes.
We all know that you're both.
All right.
Well, I'm looking forward to Saturday and hearing more about John's conspiracy.
Joining me now on the Riverside app is one of our college football twins, Ryan Robinson. Is a huge Notre Dame fan and is here to talk about Marcus Freeman has chosen a quarterback, Ryan.
Yes, he has, and he's gone with CJ Carr, who most of us who follow the program closely, like Eric and I do, kind of thought that would be the decision in the end. I mean, look at the landscape of football. You have, with the transfer portal, you can't overcommit too early, and in my opinion, I think that's what's happening with some of these programs. Kenny Minchie had a good spring game. So did CJ Carr. So did Angeli. But I think Angeli saw the writing on the wall, and that's why he decided to hit the portal. He now, if you didn't see that, he just got announced yesterday. He's the starter at Syracuse. So he's going to be a starting quarterback in a big conference. So we knew he could play, but I think he felt CJ Carr was going to end up getting the nod this fall. But, like I said, with the portal, you got to keep your roster intact as much as you can and protect it. When you look at depth level at Notre Dame, it's pretty much two people. It was CJ Carr and it was Kenny Minchie. So you got a couple other quarterbacks on the roster. It was pretty much a two-man campaign this whole spring and summer. And I always thought the pick should be CJ Carr. He's a more conventional quarterback, but it's great. I think we have a really solid backup with Minchie.
And with all the expectations coming into this season, I think a lot is riding on Carr's shoulders.
Yeah, that's an understatement. There's a ton riding on his shoulders with all the returning people on both sides of the ball. And look, Carr took, I think, one snap last year. I think he took a knee in West Lafayette at that Purdue game. So, but he's quite capable. I look for him to do good things. He's going to be more your conventional quarterback. He's able to scramble, but he can really throw the ball downfield with accuracy.
Thanks so much, Ryan. Appreciate it. And listen to Eric and Ryan Robinson on this week's College Football Report, where they picked all the conference champions and their surprises, all the playoff teams, and it was a lot of fun. So go check that out.
Go
Thanks,
Irish.
Ryan. And back with us again to talk some high school sports is Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader sports editor Michelle Garmon. And Michelle, you did another doubleheader tonight, some tennis and some volleyball. Looks like the Elwood Panther tennis team might be pretty good.
Well, they're still really young. They beat Hamilton Heights tonight, 4-1. It was a good win for a young Elwood team. Heights is kind of young too. But yeah, for Elwood, it was a great win. Their only loss was at number 1 singles, and Liam Cannon played nice. It was 2-4. The first match off the court was the twins, Colin and Callan Lever, at number 1 doubles for Elwood, and they were really dominant, and they controlled their match from start to finish. Jackson Gordon won a 3 singles. I think maybe one of the most fun matches was at 2 dubs because it went 3 sets. Elwood came out and blitzed Heights 6-1 the first set. Heights won the second set, and then the 2, and then Elwood, Braxton Daly, and Schmidt. I can't think of his first name right now, but they call him Peanut. That's why I can't think of his first name, because that's all you hear is Peanut.
That's right.
And so they won the third set 6-3, and it was really fun. And I want to give a real quick shout out to Braxton Daly, who he's the lone senior for Elwood. But I was telling Coach John Kelly of Elwood how much I've enjoyed watching and seeing the improvement that Braxton Daly has made from his freshman season to his senior season. I even told the young man that today too. It's always nice when you can see a player, you can see marketed improvement each and every year that they play.
So absolutely. That's what it's all about. And nice bounce back win for Lapel again in volleyball against Elwood, but seems like Elwood's volleyball team might have something as well.
Yeah, Elwood's volleyball team is going to be one that they'll get better as they gain experience. They lost Kendra Salee, a big force in the middle for them last year. They're a team that's going to be building. The advantage that Lapel had over Elwood was they'd already played their season opener. The season opener is kind of nice because you get out of the way. Lapel had that out of the way. Elwood did not. Panthers are back in action tonight on Wednesday. Tonight they're at Muncie Central. Then they host Tri Central on Thursday. And the Lady Trojans got a big win as well on Tuesday night. They beat Taylor 3-1. So that's really nice for their second-year coach over there.
And you will be there on Thursday, and hopefully we'll get another report on that one. Thanks so much to Sam, John, Ryan, and Michelle for helping out with today's Central Indiana Sports Central. And thank you so much for listening. If you got to this point in the podcast, you're clearly enjoying it. Do us a huge favor. Share it with as many people as you can. Help spread the word that the Central Indiana Sports Report is here talking about Central Indiana sports every single day. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.